Hey, what's up guys, Retro Man here, and I'm back with another action figure review. This time shifting gears back into Sonic. We have two of the most one-of-a-kind figures I have standing on my shelf today. The one and only Sonic Adventure 2 battle-based Sonic and Shadow action figures. Now, I will admit that I have had these figures for a long time, so I don't have the boxes to be showcased unopened with me today. But I do have all the accessories, so I'll make sure to go over those when we get to that category. My tripod broke, so I have Cheese Gamer 639 as controlling the camera today. You should definitely go check out his channel. I know I had advertised it before. He does a bunch of cool gaming stuff, modern to retro. Really cool guy, so check out his channel. But yeah, guys, this is what I have for you today. These figures have been sitting untouched in my shelf for a while, and I just thought, well, damn, I should definitely review these figures, and it took me so long to get them together. Sonic is pretty easy to find, pretty expensive though. Shadow was impossible to find, and it took me so long, and I was really lucky to find it for a cheap price, brand new in the box. But I'm just so happy that I have these figures here, and they're really special to me, especially for the amount of time it took me to get them together. Unfortunately, these are the only two in the line, not counting the third Sonic that's completely painted in gray. That is way overpriced. That's like a prototype, one of 500. So I won't be picking that up just because it's a ripoff for a Sonic. Let's say I painted this guy gray and sold it for $300. Oh, it's one of 500. Well, there you go. You have a sale. It's kind of dumb, so I consider these the only two in the line. It's unfortunate. I really wish they made more, but these are the only two they have for us right now. So these are the two we'll be reviewing today. Without further ado, let's get started with Sonic the Hedgehog. I'll go over articulation really quickly. He doesn't really have much. You can twist his head, but that's pretty much it. The rest of the figure is bendable, which is really cool because it's made out of rubber, so there are no joints to limit movement at all. You can pretty much do whatever you want with the figure, which I find really cool. I hear you can take his head off, but I don't really want to do that. I did it a lot with my first Sonic figure that I bought, and that's one of the reasons I think why his wires snapped. So when I bend him, he won't stay in a position. He'll just go back down to this neutral position, which is why I had to pick up a new Sonic, which is this guy, which was Series 6, so I got a red and yellow base instead of a gray base, but I'll go over that later. But yeah, this is the Series 6 Sonic, and it's the paint job is a lot better, I'll tell you that. But yeah, this is the new one, so it's a lot more flexible than my old one. So yeah, guys, that's the articulation, and let's jump right into detail. You got his green eyes here with the pupils are really nicely done. He's looking off to the side. Now, it's kind of funny because I hear a lot of people complaining, well, why isn't he looking to the front? Well, let me ask you something. Why does he have to be looking in the front? I mean, this is fine, right? I wouldn't really care if he's looking this way. I don't care if he's looking up. I don't care if he's looking down. It's fine. It's a neutral pose. I don't have any problem with it, and the eyes look good overall. You got a nice little black smile here, shaded in black. His ears are really nicely done, and his quills are really nicely done, although I've heard a lot of complaints saying they're going down too much. Well, no, actually, because in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic's quills are going down much more than in modern Sonic times. So just goes to show you that JoyRide did their research, because this is how it's done in the game, and this is how it should be if you're basing the figure off of the game. Oh yeah, and one thing that's super cool about this figure, his nose is actually the shape of Sonic's nose. And where do you find that on the Sonic figure these days? Really nicely done. You can bend it a little bit, but I'm not going to do it too much because it looks like it can be easily breakable. And last thing I would want to do is break this figure on camera. So you have these two back quills over here, and the nice little bendable tail. And the soap shoes. These are really nice shoes, and these are the ones I want to get into. Back when Sonic Adventure 2 was popular, Sega made a deal with Soap to give the Hedgehog heroes grinding shoes, and these are exactly what these are, the Soap grinding shoes. And so they are different from Sonic's shoes that you're probably used to nowadays, but I have to say that I do like them better. They have a lot more complex design, and they just overall look better than the neutral shoes that Sonic has. So I'm really a fan of these. It's basically the same color designs. He's got the buckle and the white going all around his shoes. He's got the yellow here, and the black and yellow over here, and his socks. But the bottom of the shoes are really something to behold here. And if you see artwork from official Sega for Sonic the Hedgehog for this game, you'll see that even the bottom of the shoes, which are not really showcased much in the game, you can see are perfectly done from the rare times that they do present it and showcase it in the game. He's got the black treads here, and you've got the holes so that you may stand him on his base. There's the pegs here. And so yeah, the shoes are just super well done, and if you were to see artwork, it's as if they stripped them from the game right on here. It's an exact replica, and it's just so well done. They couldn't really have done it better. His nice and thin design, of course, in Sonic Adventure they made Sonic thinner, and so of course he has to be just as thin as this presented figure, and it's just overall a great and very flexible Sonic figure. So concluding that review, let's jump right in to Shadow. And I have to say, just before we kick this off, that this is probably my favorite Shadow review Shadow figure that I own that's standing on my shelf. I don't know if it's just the amount of time that it took me to get it, so now I just behold it so much, but it's just the perfect Shadow figure. It's presented so well, just as it is in the game. And yeah, let me just say that this is Shadow's debut, Sonic Adventure 2. That's where he debuted. So this was the first design we got to see of Shadow, and if you ask me, it was probably the best one. So articulation very similar to Sonic. Let me just get into a position where I can see the camera, so I see what I'm reviewing here. Yeah. So the articulation is the same as Sonic. You can move his head. It's kind of limited, unlike Sonic. I don't know why. Maybe just be the quality of the figure, but yeah, I don't really move the head that much anyway. I'm not really sure if you can take it off. I'm guessing if Sonic can, then Shadow can, but again, I'm not going to try it because I don't want to risk breaking it, especially on camera. That would be embarrassing. So yeah, that's really the only articulation. You have the bendable features, but that's pretty much it. So let's jump right into detail, guys. You have his red eyes, and yes, unlike Sonic, he's looking forward. Does that matter to me? No, not really. But it's nicely done. Shadow's nose is how it should be. You've got his finger. He's pointing on this one, and he's making a nice little fist on this one. He's got a little frowny face here. Obviously, he's the exact opposite of Sonic, always in a negative attitude, even when he's happy. It's kind of funny, but that's the way he is. And his quills are really nicely done. Of course, he's got this one going down, and these ones going wide up, just as they're presented in the game, and perfectly done. And you've got the red over here leading up to the back of his head. You got the back quills over here and the little tail right there. And his shoes are also really nicely done with all the detail that Shadow shoes have. They're a little bit thicker, of course, because that's how Shadow shoes were in Sonic Adventure 2. You've got the lines here, his little rings over here, and then on the bottom you have each of his little rockets, because obviously they're rocket shoes, and two of the rockets are actually designed as holes so that he may stand on his base, and of course that's where the pegs are there, and that's why these holes are here. But look at each individual tread. It's like they went all out with the detail. They even painted it white over here in the middle with the two lines. It's just so nicely detailed. And even the shape of the shoes, it's a little thicker than Shadow shoes are right now, because that's how it was in Sonic Adventure 2, and they took everything into account and designed this overall figure perfectly, with the fur on his chest and the a little bit thicker look. And if you'll notice here, Shadow has a bit of a tan, and it's good because in the game Sonic Adventure 2 he had a tan, and it was really the only game where he had a tan. So here, obviously, this is the only Shadow figure in my collection where he has a bit of a tan, and he's not fully, his full color that we see in modern days. But this is correct. It's not incorrect. That's how he was in the game, and obviously the Sonic Adventure 2 is the game that he's presented in. So that is correct. They have the deeper shade of brown here covering his mouth up to his frowny face. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much the Shadow figure. You have the red here, and they pretty much went all out with the detail. It's just really nicely done figures. So, right before I get into accessories, let's go over play value for these figures. Well, both of the figures share the same articulation and bendable figure, so there's really no joints limiting movement. You can pretty much do whatever you want with these figures. You want him to punch, well, he'll stay there, neutral punch. You want him to go back into neutral, he'll stay neutral. But just if you move it too much, and I did that with my last Sonic figure, that I just moved it so much and took off his head all the time, and eventually his wire snapped. So it's a flexible figure, right? It's not really easily breakable, but the wires can snap if you're too rough with it. So you want to be careful on that account. But other than that, it's a really flexible figure. And so with Shadow, you can really do whatever you want here. And it's got the same bendable features as Sonic's. And yeah, so these are how both figures are presented in the box. So I'll just leave them in their neutral positions. And so now let's get into the bases. As I stated before, I got a red and yellow base for Sonic because I got the Series 6 one. So yeah, it's red and yellow. This is supposed to be the dash panels that make, you know, the Hedgehogs go faster. So that's what these are supposed to be, even if they look nothing like them. You have the sticker right there, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Again, these figures are based off of the GameCube port, not exactly the Dreamcast port, even though they're the same game. But the box says Adventure 2 Battle, which was the GameCube one, so I say Battle. GamePro presents. Again, these figures were featured in the GamePro magazine, so that's pretty cool. You've got Sonic here written in purple, and JoyRide on the back of this. I don't know if you can see it properly, but it doesn't matter. It says JoyRide anyway, so yeah, JoyRide Studios. Pretty cool stuff. Made in China, not that it really matters. And this is Shadow's base, gray, which is the neutral color for these bases. Again, it's a dash panel, same sticker, Shadow in red, and JoyRide Studios, made in China on the back. And the pegs here, of course, you can put them in a running position since they're bendable, kind of like that it's supposed to be. I just have them standing neutral like that behind their bases in my shelf, but I've seen many collectors do the opposite, so that's fine. So yeah, guys, that pretty much concludes this review. My final score, my final opinions, well, as expected, these are some of my favorite Sonic figures I have standing on my shelf, so I have to give them none other than a 10 out of 10. That's what I feel that they deserve without being biased, and they are really, really, really great figures that if you're lucky enough to find, you should definitely pick up. Especially Shadow, he's really hard to find. And if you find them, it's pretty expensive. But if you find them at an affordable price and you're a collector like me, it's definitely worth having standing on the shelf. And overall, just worth saying you have. Especially if you're a fan of Sonic Adventure games, you should definitely pick these up and present it with the game. Get Sonic Adventure 2 available for the Sega Dreamcast, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the Nintendo GameCube. And read more about these figures on GamePro magazines. Thank you all for watching. RetroMan116, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Great thanks to @CheeseGamer639. Go check out his channel. He does some good stuff. And that concludes this review. Thank you all for watching, and stick around with Retro.